admittedly, this is the beginning, and I deserve the flailing I'm about to get. But I wiped my brain clean, and you saw it. You saw it happen. And I didn't know if we were beginning or coming back. And I thought, and then I go, we're definitely beginning because it's a weird job segment.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, just say that, but I couldn't do it. I was too scared.
Well, you said I'll start, so then I figured you knew.
But it could have been me starting a beginning or starting me coming back. Anyway.
Let's do some Weird Job.
Yeah, buddy. Weird Job Wednesday on deck now.
Tom wanted to do a bit. He called it Weird Job Wednesday. Dad really likes it. Tom says that's bullshit. It's another Weird Job Wednesday. What are you doing? What is your job? Are you neat? Are you tidy? Or are you a fat slob? Do you make lots of money and you sit up in your tower looking down on all the people who are working by the hour? It's a Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Oh yes, it's Weird Job Wednesday. Just another Weird Job Wednesday. Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Weird Job Wednesday brought to you by Tom and Dan Cruise. 2024.com is where you can find all the information about our cruise happening in September. If you want to come with a big group of people, because I believe we have
7 months away,
or 300 booked so far.
I think we have close to 300, but more the merrier. And it's like 7 months away, so you got plenty of time. If you want to work on that bikini body. You know, a lot of people like to have a goal.
Or just pay it off. I believe it needs to be paid off by June, but you can book it at TomandDanCruise2024.com.
Yes, sir.
So in the studio with us, we've got Dustin Smith. And how you doing, Dustin?
Almost said Justin.
Almost said Justin.
So in fairness, on Twitter, my name is Ratings Justin Smith. That's
that's what I got. I wrote that down.
That is
you.
It's a wonderful nickname that I got from a coworker of mine. He's like, "Your ratings adjuster. Let's make that a name." I'm like, that's pretty good. So I'll run with it. But can I first start?
Please.
One, I'm doing well, but two, can we change the name of the segment from Weird Job Wednesday to Cool Job Wednesday?
Okay,
No,
we
right,
definitely
Doesn't
can.
have the same alliteration.
We definitely,
but just a one-time thing.
Okay,
maybe.
one time.
cool career.
No, don't do that. No,
It's got to be Cool Job Tuesday.
Cool Job Tuesdays.
Tuesdays?
CJT. Cool Job Tuesdays. Okay, that's fine.
But this is a cool job. And so how will you describe your job? What's your position?
So legally, it is assistant producer, and that's the simple version of it. But like, there's authenticity, ratings adjuster, DB manager, and player likeness aficionado. If you want to put some titles on it.
Okay,
Of the Madden video game.
Of the Madden video game,
Yeah.
but not just that. I will be doing some on college as well this upcoming year. So kind of all of those things, but for both football games.
Certain things that we're not there yet, so we can't discuss them, right?
Correct.
There's some things that, you know, in the future. And that's just, we'll get to it when we get to it.
So for anybody who's ever wondered how they adjust the ratings on Madden,
Yes.
Dustin is the one that does it.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you kind of like, and I'm not, like, does the buck stop with you? Like, if there's a decision to be made, is there a team? Or
there's still a small team, but there's still somebody's got to be like the final say. This,
Gotcha.
that, and the, so I will be sometimes the final kibosh of like, hey, I know you guys thought this about, let's just say, Brock Purdy in the championship game. If we actually go back and watch the tape, we are not going to be raising Brock Purdy this weekend. I understand where you're coming from.
Oh, right.
But when the ball hits the defensive player in the face mask and it should be an interception, we're probably not going to be raising him for a phenomenal catch that Ayuk made off of.
Gotcha.
You know,
Yeah. So you have to take all of that into consideration.
Exactly.
Instead of just rating people based on outcome, you have
or
to
just basic stats. Right?
Sure.
Not that's not how we do it, right?
Yeah. So Dustin, this is what's fascinating to me.
And you
because-
wanted that job because it does sound like it would come with a bit of a, like, you can never do it right kind of a
That's
label.
a great question.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't ask for this job. So when I started at EA, I did start doing just player, which these are things I still do, but I did just start doing player gear, uniforms, player likeness, things like that. But then our current guy at the time left. Funny enough, he's come back and now works hand in hand with me anyways.
Oh,
but
right on.
that's not anymore. So essentially, they left. They that position wasn't like prepared to be backfilled. He just kind of was like, I want to take this other job. So we left. They're like, well, you've been working hand in hand with other things, and we already know that you know that space. Would you be interested in taking the role? And I was like, it's not really what I came here to do, but I do love doing it.
Yeah.
And I would be interested in taking on some more. Let's try it. So I wouldn't say that I technically came here to do it, but I'm not upset that I fell into the role.
Okay, yeah.
So Dustin, let's talk about the player rankings because it's fascinating to me because I feel like the Madden video game could have gone two directions, right? Because it is an entertainment thing as a base, you know what I'm saying? It's for entertainment. You could have gone pure entertainment and been over the top and just really been more emotional and been like kind of following what the public, you know, brought up Brock Purdy.
100%.
Public thinks Brock Purdy's better technically than his stats, and in the actual, you know, in the gambling world,
Right.
where you're like stats nerds. And
Yeah.
like,
Well, there's an energy around him that may or may not not have anything to do with his performance,
so,
right?
But Matt,
Tebow had
100%.
that. Tebow was one of those guys.
But it was a terrible player.
but Matt, exactly. Which
And
I
people
yell
hate
at
to,
all
no,
day.
but people hate to hear that. I'm
No,
not
no, I
disagreeing
know.
with you at all.
Yeah.
But that is a thing that, like, you say Tebow was a terrible player in Florida.
He's a good college player, though.
Right, but
Yeah,
people don't like. They like to.
Because
no,
it's emotional.
Look what he did with Denver. You know, like, it's like,
Sport-
hold on,
sports in general is
slow
emotional.
down.
He's
Sports
also
in
got
general is
God on his
emotional.
side, so you're calling God terrible.
Yeah.
Sports in general is emotional, and so are video games. So that's totally
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
But Madden went pure analytical and tried to be as accurate as possible,
Yeah.
which I like, to the point where in the gambling world people run Madden simulations.
This is true.
because you guys are so good at your player stats and your rankings that it becomes a viable simulation to a game where they'll run the game 1,000 times and then get an idea of what the outcome will be, and they take it seriously because you guys do such a good job. So let's go back to just the ratings. How many ratings per player are there?
52.
All right, 52. And
We should start applying those ratings to me, you, and Sam.
You don't want all that.
And see.
You don't want that information.
And see who rates the best. Who would be like the best?
Now, of course, there's speed, strength, agility, and give us an idea of some other ones that are like not well known.
Block shed, pursuit, throw accuracy short, throw accuracy medium, route running deep, route running short, catching traffic, things like that.
So
Yeah, it's a ton.
and with 52 ratings, you're diving deep into it, and I'm sure, and there are certain players that don't get a ton of playing time that still have to be ranked, and then
And you still
only
have to rank
cer-
them accurately.
Yeah, you only have a certain amount of data. So let's go through your process of I want to pick like
It depends on whether you want to do making them as a rookie, because you always have to start there, or if you want to go like, what do you do on a week-to-week basis in season?
Okay, let's just start with a rookie. Like a rookie comes in.
This is the toughest one, right?
Okay.
Because you've got to basically create somebody from scratch. So the first thing we do is we duplicate them off an existing similar height and weight of a player that's close to them. So that'll get us like a nice baseline. Then we'll fill out all the biographical information, where they're from, the proper height, weight, city, state, birthday, and then we'll start trying to break down their physical ratings, which is some off the combine, but we have room for adjustment if we have other data points that we can use. And then we have to then go and sit there and watch and, well, read a bunch of scouting reports, but then watch a bunch of film on each player to get to the appropriate ratings that matter for them. Then, on top of that, if there's anything that they did out of position from the position that they're at, like say they were Ty Summers, middle linebacker for Packers, played quarterback in high school and I think in college. So you want to make sure that they're rated well still as a quarterback, even though they're no longer playing quarterback. That's the last part.
question of mine, because I got some guys
That's the last
that
one.
you'll see. They'll have that, and I was going to ask
And it's
you,
not random. It's not mistakes.
I thought it was random. I could have
it's-
sworn that they're no. Just have the computer make a couple of those guys good quarterbacks. No.
That's the last part, and it's some of them are like some
Really?
guys have done kicking, punting, whatever in the past too. Usually it's a
and that's
quarterback.
reflected.
So yeah, well, like okay, it's reflected, but reflected within not only your position group because if a quarterback's a kicker, part time, it's still only going to be so high. But then that's still ranked within, like actual kickers and punters in the league, so it's still not going to be within their range. So it's kind of rated, everything's tiered out, if you will.
Yeah, it's just like it's almost like a paper trail of yes, he did that, so you have to bump that up naturally, but it's not going to be he's not going to be killing it, but he has those skills.
Exactly, that's like our last check. If you did it in college, you're more likely to be higher rated. If you did it in high school, it'll be lower, but it'll still have something.
I did not know that. Yeah, wow. I mean, because that is one of those things. Now, how do you decide? And maybe I want to get through with your questions too, because I play Madden all the time, so I have these dumb questions about different variations of player. It's not like what drives me crazy. I'm thinking about your job, and what I mean by drives me crazy makes me stressed out and gives me anxiety. Is that are you rating like let's take a Calvin Ridley. I'll just throw that as my example. There could be how many different variations of Calvin Ridley within the game, because you might have one for this particular thing that was rolled out. You might have one that's the baseline elite version of him.
Oh, you're talking about the MUT versions.
Yeah, and the MUT version.
For what it's worth, I don't do that.
Okay, good, because I was going to say.
Now,
okay, what is that as a non-player?
So MUT they'll
it's Madden Ultimate Team.
Yes, there will be multiple versions of a player that'll come out a year. Like especially if you do something nice, here comes a better version of that player. And so basically, it's a card types or item type system that you can level up your team fantasy wise. It's kind of like building a custom roster, but then. Usually at the start of the year, there's only so many players that are so high, and then as the year goes along, we release more and more players that are better and better based on this, that, X, or the other. Sometimes it's ghosts of this, legends past. There's really, legendary players. Yeah. It's a little bit of this.
It's like it's literally for sports. To me, it's like having the different universes.
Yeah.
It's like having the multiverse.
It's like a Marvel multiverse because there's legend players in it and stuff,
yeah.
right? And you can create like a super fantasy team of the best that you've maybe always wanted, and then actually get to use them on the field.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
See how that might play out.
So,
super fun.
I'm curious that because stats don't necessarily paint the clear enough picture, as you talked about before. Like when Brock Purdy throws a pass that bounces off.
Kendall Vildor's face mask.
Yeah, his face mask, and then Ayuk makes an unbelievable catch. Like that's more on Ayuk than it is Purdy. Like that was a bad pass.
100%.
And then sometimes interceptions are not the quarterback's fault because the wide receiver will run a bad
Prescott
route.
was really bad with that last year, right? He had horrible interception luck. He had a nice on a fourth down. Funny enough, I was at this game in Jacksonville. Fourth down, he hits Noah Brown right over, catches it right here. Until he doesn't, just bounces up in the air. Rayshon Jenkins, interception, touchdown, game over.
Hit him in the breadbasket.
Hit him right where he's
pass,
supposed to.
And then Dak gets counted as interception.
we won't negate that.
But okay,
correct.
so you will look at that interception. Now that requires knowing what happened in every single game.
Yeah.
So how do you do that?
We have a few resources that work for us. Obviously, I watch. I think I had to count this up. Something about 50-something hours of football week. So okay. I watch a Monday night football game, a Thursday night NFL game, sometimes college Wednesday, sometimes college Friday, sometimes college Thursday simultaneously with the NFL game. Then I'll watch 5 or 6, depends on if I go to a buddy's house where I can watch more at the same time, sometimes 8 college football games on Saturday.
Damn.
And then I'll watch Red Zone, and then sometimes like one singular game at the same time on Sunday. So I'm watching the 1 p.m., the 3 p.m., and then the 8 p.m., and that's all the football.
Does it suck?
Oh my God.
But does it suck thee? Because I know you know what you're talking about, and you obviously must love it to do it. But does it change to give an example of with Tom? Because you've found your hobby of gambling. It has changed the way you consume football. Has it changed though your love for it, your excitement, or do you have a team that used to be your team, but now you're like, I watch so much football, I don't even have a team anymore? I
still have my team. I still enjoy it. I've never seen any loss of passion in the teams that I've liked to watch. I will say I watch it differently than I used to. Because you understand the game on a different level, that you start to pick apart and watch things happen. And you're like, hold on, watch. This is gonna be a slot fade right here. Right, this is gonna happen. I was at the FSU LSU game earlier this year, and they had Keon Coleman in the slot. I I think they were around the 4 or 5 yard line. I was like, watch, slot fade, or at least a corner fade, right? And literally touchdown right there in our corner in the end zone where we're sitting. I was like, I knew it.
You called because of your so much film.
And I'm not 100%, but there's like certain things that you start to see these tendencies, and even if it's the first game of the season, you're like, okay, I know what they've been going to Keanu Coleman a lot. I hadn't really seen him in the slot all game. This feels intentional. You start to pick up on these things.
The area that they were putting in.
Exactly. There's a lot of those things that you pick up that are really cool that once you understand the game on a more deep level, especially from watching film and being around a lot of smart people that teach you how to watch film and things like that, you go, there's just so much like really cool, intricate things happening on this in like on the field at the same time, and it's hard to watch them all at the same time. But as you watch things like break down in front of you, just as the play begins to play, like even from the broadcast camera, it's harder to see everything happen there. So sometimes you'll go, I thought I saw something, and then you'll go back and you watch it on film from the end zone where you can see it clearly. You're like, that's exactly what I thought happened. Or you're like, wow, it didn't look like that up from the broadcast. That looked like that was like a super easy throw. And then you see like it went fingertips over this dude's hand.
Right.
And it was into a window that didn't look open at all. But from the broadcast camera, you're like, the dude was wide open. You're like, but if I go back and watch, I'm like, that was an incredible throw.
Do you have to go back and watch like the all 22 or anything like that sometimes?
Yeah, so we don't go back and we watch the all 22 on everything or every player or anything like that. But like, I'll go back and watch it on a number of things. What's nice is we have next gen stats accounts that like I can go back, and usually the film's up that evening.
Nice.
So like if I saw something earlier and I wanted to check it real quick, I can usually catch it pretty quick.
And can you explain to our listeners what the all 22 is? Because people may not know.
So the all 22, there's a sideline camera that you can see all 22 players at the same time, and it's will also zoom in to follow the play, which makes it easier to track. But then from the end zone, the end zones, you don't actually see all 22 players on the field at first. This is just inside the tackle box essentially, and then the camera will pan out as the play develops, which is really nice. So you can get a good idea of like, oh wow, this guy was lined up over the guard. He ended up coming around on a rush versus the right tackle after the whole thing. You're like, wow, that was really impressive. Bends the corner, ends up making the play. Where you like if you just watch that on broadcast, you don't tend to get the same idea. Like they might replay it and give you something that'll break it down, but like watching it from the all 22 end zone camera gives you a much better feel. Like even when you play football, like even if you're just playing flag football or anything like that, watching it from like the end zone camera is basically how you play the game, right? It just feels more natural. You can kind of see things break down.
Sure, yeah.
So
they're trying to get that as a regular feed now, aren't they?
It'd be amazing if they did.
I think they're
I want to say they offered that during the college football championship on ESPN, one of the ESPN channels.
One of our buddies, too, a good friend of ours that we worked with at Orlando City, is now working for the Atlanta Falcons, which is my team, unfortunately. And he's like made his way. He's been working for him for almost 10 years now. He's made his way to a weird job or a cool job like you, where he's now in charge of all our videography. And he was one of the guys that engineered that camera from the top of the Mercedes-Benz, so you get that bird's eye view of like plays happening.
Yeah.
And now there are people asking like, well, why don't you offer that all? I want every feed at all times going to my TV so I can see everything.
Well, if you're really into the sport of football, watching the all 22 will tell you or give you a better idea of what's actually happening, because
yes and no.
Okay.
Because you could think you see something, but if you don't know the play caller, you don't maybe understand some of the nuances that go into it. You may think you see one thing on the film, but it's actually something else.
Yeah, but
that's the trickiest part.
It's insanely complicated. But people forget, like, every coach on every team, they might as well have been doing this since birth. like all these guys, and not only
100%.
Not only have been doing it for their whole lives, but that's the only thing they eat, drink, sleep, football.
It's kind of gross.
They're addicted to it.
Yeah.
They're working 80-hour weeks, sleeping in their office. Mm-hmm. Like the amount of work schedule these guys are putting in, it's so insane. I think it's, head coach of NFL is considered one of the most stressful, work encompassing jobs you could have.
It's right up there with Tampa Bounty Hunter. The Tampa Bounty Hunter really stressful.
And it's funny when
it's a reference I don't get.
When just
it's just any bail bondsman is a basic bounty hunter.
Fair.
And Dustin, well, you'll understand what I'm saying, because the casual football fan will be like, "What?" They'll be criticizing the coaches and be like, "What? That's an idiot. This guy's an idiot."
But that's the easiest thing to say.
No, I know. But you're like,
sometimes they're right, but it's not it's not as often as you might think. That's for sure.
And it's probably definitely not because of the why you think he's an idiot. You know, that may have been a wrong call, but not because of why you think it is.
But unfortunately, it comes back to what Dustin originally said, which is it's emotional. So it doesn't matter with what you're saying is correct or not. You're going to say it.
I will say, when I've been in any coach clinic, like, a coach will get up there, and like you said, I mean, obviously it's 100% of their life. They're doing 80 hours, this, that, and the rest. And they'll we're going to pull up the first play, right? We're going to go over this play. And what happens is they'll end up spending 2 hours on one play.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I understand how we get, because there's so much nuance that can happen on play. But you know, we came here for 3 hours and you spent 2 hours on one play. Can we get to the next few things that you wanted to show?
But it does show you how complicated it is. You know, like, and people don't even think that like every play is so complicated that a casual football fan does not understand what's going on. You know, like,
no, I mean, I don't half of the time, but
you could spend half your life studying it and then like look at how much football Dustin consumes.
And I'm sure you're still learning stuff.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Have you ever been like, have you ever gotten it wrong when you rated somebody and then had to go in and adjust it, or is that a thing?
So in fairness, I mean, our ratings are never set in stone. That's kind of why we do like a weekly adjustment anyway. So I can't say that we ever necessarily got someone wrong, but there are guys that we raise up faster than others because like, usually it's a rookie, though. It's your Puka Nacua this year. Like, you were drafted in the 5th round. There wasn't expectation of you to be the best rookie receiver of the year, right? So obviously you're going to make a bigger jump in that realm. Like, I don't know if there's ever been like a guy that we've gotten so wrong blatantly that like
that's good though.
We've had to completely flip it.
Yeah.
But like there are definitely adjustments that happen all the time. But to that same end, like I mean, we had some Raven scouts in the office a couple weeks back that were like, is there anybody that you feel that you got right? I mean, I feel bad about this because the first 2 that came to my mind were guys that we got right by rating them lower rather than high.
No, really.
And it was Shaquille Leonard and Daniel Jones.
Okay.
And not that because Shaquille still got in, I think, into the upper 80s.
Yeah.
AKA former Darius Leonard, but like you could kind of see that he was just an athlete. Like he didn't always know that he needed to go to this spot, that spot. He was a spot dropper. He had all of the athletic ability, but there was enough other pieces missing that, like, as you can see, the Colts ended up wanting to move on for him to go to EJ Speed, Zaire Franklin, whatnot. So I think there's something there. Like it feels good when you get one right. It does not feel so good when maybe it's a guy.
Yeah, it's also a weird thing to do. It's like you're
like, haha, I nailed it. You're a 67. Oh,
right. It's so human to real people.
Right, exactly.
There's a real human element to it.
Exactly.
Like from watching Hard Knocks and stuff, the players reference
their
Madden ratings all the time. Like, you know, this is a thing.
It's in rap songs. So like, it's literally a thing.
You know, like Tyreek Hill will, like, you know.
I was with Tyreek Hill last night.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's talk about that.
He's waiting outside the car for us to finish the podcast so he can take Dustin to Buffalo
Now
Wild
I just
Wings.
woke up.
He ran home fast.
He was doing a thing at the studio with Mike Parsons, Puka, and David and
Puka,
for the Pro Bowl. Yeah.
Okay, all right, but yeah, there's a lot of players in town for the Pro Bowl.
Yeah, Mama Kelsey's in town, staying in Baldwin Park.
So how?
I thought she was out of Disney.
So allegedly she lives.
Yeah,
she lives around here.
She does.
Yeah.
So my a buddy said that his friend ran into her on the walking trail, and she does actually live right here.
Yeah. She's usually on Katie Way. That's why I want to get you on there.
There you go. See?
So how do you handle?
She loves the rolled ice cream down here. Ice NYC.
Yeah, it's very good actually.
So will players talk to you about their rating personally?
100%. Now, if they know who to go to, obviously we promoted up. Hey, you talk to Chad, which is nice. It takes a lot of heat off of us. Chad was there too. Chad's great. You can say anything to Chad. Chad will be like, yeah, man.
What are you pawning off on Chad? Just because he's easy
I don't
going?
pawn it off on him. It's just one of the hey, he's our celebrity manager. He knows what he's doing. Like, and it's funny. I was talking with him last night. He's like, whenever anybody says like, hey, how come I'm not hired? He goes, check the film. I go, I'm going to start saying that more often.
Check the film.
Like,
wait, do they ever have a valid argument of like...
Some guys might, depending on a certain rating. Like, usually it's not the overall. In fairness, the overall is a formula. It's not like I just type in that you're an 88.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like that. Like, it's like, hey, I ran a 20.67 and y'all got me at 89 speed. I'm like, you're right. I should bump. That should be probably maybe like 91, 92. That's fair. Okay. Like I can go back and reevaluate things like that. Like for example, Puka, what he put on tape and combine coming out was not even in the 90 speed. I think it was an 89, 88, maybe even lower, right? What he tested at did not show what he put on film this year. And we had NGS numbers come out. I think he hit in the low 21s or the high 20s that, boom, okay, well, we can adjust that. That's what the best part of the weekly adjustments for, that we can go through, change that, knock that up to match exactly who you are playing as right now.
Yeah, because the rating is constantly being adjusted, and through every player, like that must. I mean, how many players are we talking about?
In season, we're talking. Let's see. So there's technically around 2,900 in the league, but then that's it's counting your free agents and like a lot of guys that aren't on teams, and then that's counting your practice squad. And usually during your week, your practice squad guys aren't getting adjusted either. So about half, about 1,400.
I mean, that's an insane
a
amount
lot
of
moving
data.
parts, man.
1,400.
But a lot of the time, you'll see a guy, you'll be like, okay, he played exactly as expected on the next. He played as expected. He played as expected.
Right, you're not adjusting all 52 on 1,400 every week.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times you'll see that he played to exactly what I kind of thought he would. Wow, he was really bad. All right, we should take him down, something like that.
The number one thing I've always wanted to ask, and you can tell me if this is something I shouldn't ask about. You can say, Dan, you're an idiot. You shouldn't have brought this up. Has there ever been anything you guys have had to pull because it got over politicized? Like, wasn't there a minute where, as a player, if I scored a touchdown, I could put my fist up in solidarity in the game? Like, can you not do that anymore? Like,
I want to say there's been a handful of celebrations we've had to remove before for this, that,
like
or that.
copyright.
I want to say, yeah, a few have been copyright this or that. Like, hey, somebody ended up copyrighting,
or like a player that did something
somebody ended up
nefarious.
copyrighting a dance that we had to get rid of.
Oh, right, that makes sense.
That like. I don't know how you copyright a dance, but
that's
a little outside my wheelhouse.
Buffer did it, right? Like, yeah.
There you go.
Have you ever had to like eliminate a player that was like a bad person, and then you're like, well, we have to remove you from the game because you are horrible?
I'll let the internet tell you.
Okay, yeah, there you go. That's
that one's out there.
Good answer.
That one's out there.
Okay, I've got a question. Do you gamble?
Because oh, is this your new best friend?
Do you crush it with fantasy football?
Yeah, you should.
So I do have a lot of people ask me for fantasy football advice, and like I've offered that or go like halvesies on teams before, but like I stopped playing a while back because even knowing people's injuries history for whatever reason, like had I drafted a team this year, because I even look back at it, I'm like, I would have drafted him. He got hurt. I would have drafted him. He got hurt.
There's a lot of luck.
There is, and like you could be as good as possible, but you still have to be winning in the injury luck bug and the waiver wire.
Yeah.
If you don't win on those two fronts,
done. It
really doesn't matter.
If you win on that, and if you didn't win in those areas, but you win your league, you don't have anybody in that league that knows what they're doing. That's the way I see it. Because Kyron Williams was available, Puka wasn't available. Which means somebody picked them up and probably helped them win a championship this year.
I'm just curious about you. Like, you have so much knowledge of the players in the game that,
In fairness, betting on games was not legal in Florida until that commercial came out.
Yeah. Love that commercial, by the way. They did a great job with doing the
offshore
the whole musical thing. Yeah.
You can get offshore books. Those are legal.
Yeah, a lot of people don't want to go through the whole Bitcoin thing.
For what it's worth, I have had a number of friends like, hey, who would you take in this spread, this prop bet? And I've given my advice, this and that. But I should probably start charging for what it's worth.
You should.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that, who do you like in the Super Bowl?
What's the spread?
Yeah, the spread is 2 right now. It started,
but it's favoring the 49ers, right?
Yeah. 49ers -2.
You make the Chiefs an underdog. Watch them win.
Yeah. That's what
I'm from Kansas City, and I'm not even a Chiefs fan, but I know better.
But
I know better.
But a lot of times, like where I fall short is like matchups, and because I don't understand enough about the players and the intricacies of the actual game.
I have to really read about matchups. It's hard.
So
Steve Spagnuolo is the only matchup you need for that one. Like that dude has put together a phenomenal defense with. Some people didn't even know half the players on that Chiefs defense, and they all have been playing out of their mind. So for me, that's kind of where I'm at in the matchup realm.
Yeah, the nobodies that are doing well. It's like, well,
and some of them aren't even nobodies.
Right.
Snead's been on it for a while. Chris Jones obviously stud.
I forgot about Snead.
Menahu did just tear his ACL, who came off suspension after 8 weeks.
Oh, that's
this year,
the kind of info you're looking for, right?
Who was a former 49er who definitely would have been having a really good get-back game, but he tore his ACL versus the Ravens, so you're not going to have him. But still, Michael Dana's good. They are weak at the other defensive tackle spot because Nadi's on IR, Wharton's not that dude, and Pennell, who they've been elevating from the practice squad's not that dude. Bolton's good. Like, Chanel can play, even though he hasn't been spending that.
Is this how you talk to your wife? Is
No.
this what you say?
No,
No,
this
no,
is
not
a
you. I'm
different
talking
level.
to Tom.
No, this is a
But
different level.
is this where you want to be? Is this where you want to be?
Listen to you talk. I'm
Are
curious.
you getting hard?
No, you can't say that.
I know. I know we can.
We,
I thought this was a family show.
Well, how do you think we make babies? That's how you make babies.
That's fair.
So, listening to you talk, my question is, do you have a mind that makes it easy, or do you, can you remember names and numbers better than the normal person? Because, I consume a lot of this, and I'll often be like, wow, what's the name of the
guy?
I'll forget, and that's all I listen to when I'm working out is all these names, and so I'm like, why can't I bring? But
So I do limit myself to just watching football, which helps because
Okay.
when you're into other sports, there's even more names to remember. This,
Oh,
that,
yeah.
But yes, I'm also very good at that. I do have a photogenic memory in that regard. One of the reasons I got the job in the first place was I can tell you any player's helmet, face mask, and if they wore a visor and what color the visor was, if you name a player from probably the late 80s to now.
wow, I mean
You could do some players before that too, but I won't know all of them.
Yeah. What's
EA football helmet Rain Man.
See,
I love that.
but
man.
that's-
That's awesome.
But that's a skill that seems genetic, like your brain's working a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying?
Well, maybe he just
it has
landed
to
in
be.
the right
Yeah.
spot.
I don't know if anybody else in my family has it from what I picked out, but it's definitely wired in different.
Yeah. And it's something you need to be able to do this job. Now, okay.
And enjoy it.
Yeah.
Because he said, you even said, unless I got
I
the
haven't
quote
lost.
wrong,
I have not lost.
it's
any
not the
Tuesdays.
number one thing you would have selected, but you're good at it and you enjoy it.
Well, the other part that I was doing, like the player likeness, the authenticity of uniforms, was the number one thing, and I still do it.
Yeah.
So this is just like a bonus.
Yeah.
Because this is just as fun, but just in a different way.
All right, I got two last questions for you.
I love all the throwback uniforms you guys had. They're great.
There is a 99 Club.
Most of those myself.
They're great. They're great.
There's
The
an
old Vic one, the old Falcons one, that was the one that made me a Falcons fan, and you guys added it
The
this
black
year.
one or the red one?
The red one with the white sleeves. A lot of people hate it. It's a little corny, but I don't know. I'm a Falcon,
That's
and
fair.
it's nostalgia. I put it on. I'm like, Vic's back. We're doing it.
We're doing it.
So there's a 99 Club, which is there's 5 players, I believe,
People are asking about that in the chat room.
with a 99 rating. Aaron Donald, Justin Jefferson, Travis Kelce, Mahomes, and Zach Martin, right guard for the Cowboys.
He just lost it recently.
He just lost it. Okay, so
Tyreek Hill's in there, by the way.
Oh, Tyreek. Okay, I must have been looking at.
Well,
all
you may
your-
have looked at the start of the season for what it's
Yeah, 'cause it
okay.
does change.
All right. So with that being said, I'm sure there's the lowest score as well. But
that's the player I made of me in the game. Real bad.
100%.
Real bad.
so
Usually it's a long snapper. I feel bad to say it.
is it?
Because we haven't truly added the position yet. It is what it is. It's something we will be doing eventually, but we have not done it. And there's a hilarious old story. It was just because I don't know if I can say it. The previous Washington team.
Yeah.
The long snapper for them back in the day, I think it was Junkin or something like that, or
Jukin?
no, it's like Todd Junkin or something. And maybe it wasn't even him. Maybe I'm mixing him with somebody else. But he wrote a op-ed, if you will, about being the worst rated player in Madden and how it made him feel. I think this was like 2008. This is before I was working on the game. So
Okay.
This is still hilarious.
Yeah.
But they are still, unfortunately, treated a little unfairly in our game. We've done some things to make them a little better. But yeah, once it's a true position, they will no longer be the worst. But if you were going to ask what the worst of the worst is, I try not to think about it.
Gotcha. Yeah. because does it bother you that it will make someone sad? Or are you?
There's a
looking
human
at
element to that. I'll
Okay.
give you that.
I think you want the distance of, at least I can speak for me. If I were in your position, I would love the distance of the company surrounding me. I'll still do my job, but it is not. It's just a game.
Well, like you pawn it off in Chad. You're
Yeah.
like, it must have been a Chad.
I don't know. Must have been a glitch.
Mistakes happen every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a hard job.
It is. Like, if somebody were to sit there and ask me about all the worst players rated in the game, I can happily say that I don't know who they are off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Because I
Oh,
don't.
that's even worse. Don't say that. Cut that out.
No, that's a good thing because it means you haven't intentionally gone out of your way to make them bad. right? You haven't like made
That's
them
true.
worse and worse and worse.
Like just you saw Tyreek Hill last night, and just from getting to know these players a little bit and hanging out with them, I'm sure your friendship or just knowing them, like, does that ever come into play with the rankings, or it starts to become more?
No.
Boost them a little
We don't
bit.
do favoritism. Now they could sit there and tell me something that means something, and we might go through and like at least confirm whether they were right, make a tweak there, this, that, or the rest. There are things that we'll do in that regard. But actually, we had a fun note from Micah last night. He had said, Tyler Smith is the strongest person on our team, bar none. I'm like, of all the little notes you could have given me, didn't tell me about yourself, didn't say anything else. Tyler Smith is the strongest person on our team. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll take that back.
You might bump him because of what he's at. Yeah,
now, I think he might already be there, but I might give him a little +1 in our strength.
Okay, yeah.
Because you will get tidbits of information from the players within, because the media tells a different story, because a lot of stuff is hype, and then just sifting through the media BS is a lot of it.
Yeah.
Because that, your casual football
Distraction,
fan, the public,
narratives.
the narratives. Like, how do you? Because I laugh at so many narratives, because that the whole.
Oh, there's plenty of them right
everything's
now
funny.
that are meaningless, that are like the top headlines,
Yeah.
And then you guys, I guess your job is to dig through that and get to the most accurate game. Who's the most famous athlete or has there ever been a player that you've met that you were like, I should not be meeting this person, this is freaking me out? Have you ever fanboy at all? You seem very calm in what you do, so I don't imagine you would have a story.
I used to fanboy a little bit more, but now that I've been around it more, like
you
it's
seem
less
very
and less.
comfortable with what you're doing,
I think that just kind of comes with time. But like, yeah, I mean, I got to go to my favorite team in Face Scan. I'm like the first year I worked there, and I was kind of like, I gotta calm down. We gotta calm down.
Yeah, I would
You gotta
freak
dial
out.
it back a little bit. I know it's exciting. These are guys that you've been watching. You like a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Just
And you're in
out.
charge of how they look in the game.
Right.
I mean, that's a big deal.
and some
I mean,
some of them care, some of them don't. Some of
Yeah.
them care about a rating, some of them don't. Right. There's all that.
like tattoos and moles and all that matters, right?
To some of them. Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, some don't care.
I noticed you have a huge memorabilia collection, correct? And does EA have a policy where, like, when Tyreek Hill or players do come in, tour the facility or whatever, you're not allowed to ask them for their autograph or whatever? That's frowned upon.
No hard policy. Don't be obnoxious about it type things. But like,
Okay.
Yeah. So in fairness, Tyreek had sent me his game worn helmet. It was like 2018 because we had made friends during a previous visit, and it wasn't signed. So I brought it with me last night. I was like, "Remember when you sent this? I know it's been a while, but can I get you to put a signature on it this time?"
Oh, that's
So
cool.
that was nice. And then there were two other Tyreek Hill fans wearing their Dolphins jerseys that they're like, let's hook them up with the signature.
Oh, that's cool.
The fact that he sent you his helmet, to me, is a little bit bribery.
This was well before this year when he became a 99 for what
I'm
it's
just
worth.
saying, if I
don't know. I make you a 99 if you send me the helmet.
So in fairness,
I'm joking.
I had seen. Funny enough, this goes back to the photogenic memory thing.
Oh.
I had seen that he had changed his helmet that season to an F7 from the Shut Air XP, and I go, well, what did the equipment room do with that old helmet? He goes, I don't know. They're just hanging on to it. I was like, if they ain't doing anything with it, can you send it? He's like, yeah, sure. Who cares? I'm like, I'm not wearing it anymore. I'm like, yes.
Oh, hell yeah, man. That's awesome.
How much are those helmets? Like, if you were just a
You mean if
mom-
they had to pay one?
Well, there's all different variations now, right?
Yeah,
like,
but-
what
so,
are there?
So if you had to
5,
just
6?
I
Or-
think we're up to like 12.
Oh, wow. I'm way out of the loop then.
But like it depends on if you have to buy a team version or just one for yourself. Like usually if you're gonna go buy one off the shelves, it's like $5.50 or something. Then if it's worn by a really good athlete, usually it's worth a lot more than that. If you sign it, it might be worth even more than that. So like
This is
personally,
game
I just
worn. This isn't just worn in a photo shoot.
Correct.
This is like
And-
something he was hitting.
a lot of the things I have, like I like collecting game worn stuff. It's a lot of my stuff. Like the whole jersey wall I have is majority of it's game worn.
Dope.
Some have been sent, some I've paid for, some I've traded for, whatever. It's just I don't know. It's been a hobby I've always like wanted. Like I used to collect football cards, and like I'd see all these cool things and gear. Like I want to own. Like I was a huge Deion Sanders fan. I want to
too.
own. In 1995, he had the beautiful shark teeth, and I mean they brought these DT Max Pros or whatever they are called out again. They had the shark teeth on the side. It was his own custom shoe. I said I would. So I personally owned the shoes and wore them every day for school when I was 11 that year.
That's awesome.
That was cool, but I'm like, I want to own a pair of his. And a few years ago, I saw a pair available that I bought online that I was like, this is currently it is the pride and joy of my collection.
That's cool.
That like they're still so old and the plastic cleats have started to fall off a little bit, but they show use. They're awesome. I'm very happy to have something that I said I wanted when I was 11.
Yeah.
That like eventually over time it became available.
That's
always cool.
How sad is it that Dion had to amputate his toes
I know.
recently?
Doesn't even need those shoes now.
Because so many of our our listeners
Still faster with his nose. Like he could outrun me right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
don't need our
Absolutely.
toes, but Dion, like
Give him his toes.
Yeah,
They don't got robot
That one did
toes
bother
yet?
me too.
Yeah, that one. When I didn't even know that. I'm a huge Dion fan just from being the Falcons. He signed my card in the Ritz-Carlton of wherever the team was staying at the time and sent me back a letter because I sent him the Florida State card, and that's what got him. And he wrote that. He's like, hey, thanks for sending my college card.
Nice.
Yeah, it's dope.
It's funny because now he's not the biggest Florida State fan.
Nah, I don't think so at all. Yeah. Not at all.
That's unfortunate, but
Yeah, it is. I don't talk about that.
Dustin, thanks so much
Yeah,
for
man.
coming by.
We
and,
love talking to you. That was really fun.
Yeah, and because you're in town, we'd love to have you on the show again sometime, to talk about maybe next year.
This is when you say, absolutely not. I had a horrible time.
I can do it as long as it's. There's already been things talked about by the company that, I'm not releasing any news on the show.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do that. We're the show that people come to for old news.
No breaking news.
Yeah,
here.
no breaking. We guarantee that. Only things you've heard before, Tom and Dan.
That's
all right.
genius.
And do you want to promote any social media or anything so people can follow you?
Let's see. What equipment_guru on Twitter, formerly known as X.
Oh yeah.
I like to flip that.
Yeah.
Because I don't care what you call it. It doesn't matter to me. That's usually where you can find me.
There you go.
I do not respond as often as I used to because some people get a little.
Yeah, people are mean.
They're a little mean nowadays.
Yeah.
So it's nice to get a nice tweet here and there. I do enjoy those.
There you
Well,
go.
I am going to ask you for fantasy football advice, so
That's
be
fine.
ready for the email.
And they're poorly written too. They're hard to decipher. Yeah, you have to. They're hard to read, but it's
All
in
right.
there.
We will see you tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
So that was a
That was the
Wednesday
beginning?
1 and 2.
Okay, sorry.
you want to put you want to put you want to change it?
I just thought since we can't, I don't know.
You want
I can
stronger
change it.
ending?
Here, right here. And we'll be right back. Okay, perfect. Because that's got to be edited in.
Yeah, I got it.
Thank you. We're still on Twitch and YouTube, just so you know. I like to make sure people know that. What's up, Mark Villain?
I was to say, do you answer any questions?
Occasionally we do. Sometimes they just like to sit there and talk to each other.
Block Tom.
Where's that go, Sam?
That will be for Wednesday, February 21st.
Yes. Do we have anything there?
No. It's like 3 weeks away.
You never know, though.
And then we're going to put...
He's did all of our branding. So
Yeah.
all of this.
Oh,
is
that explains that.
basically
Yeah.
Sebastian
Oh,
and his
Sebastian.
brother.
Yeah.
Sebastian's great.
We've been working with them for 15 years since we started.
February what?
Since we started
21st.
the podcast. When we started the podcast, they hit us up because they went on their own and started their own branding agency. They're like, "Hey, let's do your branding, and then you can promote us." And then that's how the relationship started. And then from then on out, they've been doing all our branding for
And chairs.
all our stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
A
we-
listener got the pattern and he's like, I'll cover these chairs for you.
But then we built this too. But we moved in here like 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Six,
is
eight.
this like supposed to be office space?
Yeah, all the lower spots are all like,
And then upstairs is residence?
yeah, that's how they did it. And
Cool.
I don't think it really caught on. They started it like 05, 06. They wanted to build this out so all the lower areas are businesses. So you have a bunch of like weird startups here, and then like us, and then there's like a wine bar here, a tailor, a gym, like little like
Tiny small businesses,
nail
nail
She
salon,
just moved in. I think she's working on getting her
realty,
signed.
therapy
That place, of all
offices.
the places, that nail lady is just making bank.
She's doing good, yeah.
She is killing it.
Everybody else on that corner has failed
Yeah, but
miserably.
she knows what she's doing. That lady's killing it.
She did have clientele in there when I walked by.
Yeah, and then she thinks she does the microblading, but she does it.
Well, there's two different ladies. One does nails, one does the
They do
brows.
it right next to the window with the light, and the window opens, so you can watch if you want to. It's kind of creepy. You know.
Yeah, well, depends on what you're into.
Exactly. Thanks again for doing this, man. Super duper fun. I appreciate.
I'll do it again when I can talk about things in Madden 25 in college.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of time, man. You know, like.
It'll be a while before we release.
Yeah. And everybody's salivating for. I'm sure that college thing is
one everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, they're freaking out.
I'm glad I didn't have to bring up my favorite team because most people hate it for it.
What's your team? Oh, right on. That's okay. That's okay. It's a heritage team.
I grew up. Look, my mom raised me a Cowboys fan, or I probably would have been a Chiefs fan.
That's how you get it. My dad was a Redskins fan.
You can't say that anymore.
I know. He didn't. Dad died before he saw it, so I guess he died a Redskins fan.
Yes, he did.
Technically.
Well, you know, it's fine.
Back
they're still the Redskins.
Back in the day, talk about memorabilia. Back in the day, he and his twin brother had real uniforms, junior versions from the Washington Redskins that his mom had purchased from the team. They were like small, but like officially licensed, and they were badass.
That's awesome.
It's like rich kid stuff.
That sounds like rich kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like any.
Yeah, they were doing okay.
Yes. This is why.
Leather helmet.
As I was a not so fortunate child, this is why this is really cool as an adult to get those things that I wanted as a child.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. 100%. Let me save that. All right.
Mr. Villon.
What?
Mr. Villon.
Mr. Villon.
Yes, you.
Yeah, thanks again, Dustin. Appreciate you, man. Get rid of that.
Wheatus is playing an acoustic set at Will's Pub.
I love Wheatus. I'm just a teenage dirtbag. Drive safe, man. Come on in, y'all. What's up, buddy? How you been?
Hey.
Very good to see you.
Busy but good.
Well, busy but good.
Hi.
Hey, that was actually good audio on that.
What's your name?
What's up?
Alan.
He's a cool-looking
I'm sorry,
guy,
what
though,
was
right?
I don't know about Alan.
Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know
you.
about Sam.
Alan looks cool.
You look very familiar.
Yeah,
to
you
me.
do.
Yeah.
He has the look of a famous person. Are you famous, Alan?
Yeah, you like bad bands?
I like great bands.
Do you like? Are you gonna fuck with him? Like, do you like bad bands? He's in a terrible band. All right, let's get these microphones a humming.
A-L-L-E-N or A-L-A-N?
E-N-A-L-L-E-N.
Oh, yeah. Is there a surf event this year or no? Not
so
this year.
we're doing like an in-between. We're calling it 9.5, kind of like how Jackass did.
Did
Okay.
you cut your hair?
Yeah, I did.
I was gonna say, as soon as you
What?
turned
Sorry.
that corner, I was like,
Sorry, I'm a
Where did his hair go?
noticer, and I'll be noticing everything. I'm like,
beautiful hair.
he
too.
did have beautiful hair.
Oh, it was amazing.
How's yours?
We don't want to talk about that.
My hair is. Although I do bully my daughter with my hair, I will point to my hair and I'll be like, "Your hair is gonna look just this same color, dirty blonde," because her hair is like really white blonde,
Right,
like
right.
beautiful blonde right now. It's coming for you.
See,
That's
my
like my
youngest
funny
daughter,
joke.
her hair was black when she was first born, and it fell out. And now it's dirty blonde. I'm not sure if I'm her dad.
Oh, yeah, that
That's
happens.
right.
That happens. That happens. I'm at a place in my relationship where I care so little for my wife that it doesn't matter if the daughter's mine
I hope
because
I
I
get
love
there.
my daughter.
Yeah,
But my wife, whatever.
I've been
Yeah.
meaning to talk to you, Al.
Yeah, great.
But if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, your daughter is too tall to be your daughter," I mean, how would I debate it?
Yeah.
She's your daughter. I could tell. You could
It's
tell.
the anxiety.
No, well, she looks like you.
She does.
As a-
She does. She has a big penis. All right, here we go. That was dumb. Who would say that? Why would you say that about your own daughter, man?
So we're going to put this for tonight's show.
Cool.
So this will be aired tonight.
All right,
13.
that looks good, and everybody can hear, and their microphones are working. Awesome. Here we go. You want to start?
Yep.
3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. We've got a couple guests on the couch. Mark Villain and Alan
Hey,
from
hey.
Villain Clothing Company and Villain Coffee, which I was going to ask you, Mark, because I've always known you as for your apparel and obviously the Villain Clothing, and you started the coffee, but
Yeah.
now it seems like it's coffee crazy
Yeah, it
because the
seems-
second
yeah.
location.
Yeah,
So-
it seems like your coffee business has been caffeinated.
Oh no.
We'll be right back.
Thank you. This guy, he knows what he's doing. This guy knows.
But no, it started as just clothing, and then we brought coffee in 4 years ago, and we still don't know what we are. You come in for a coffee, you buy a shirt, buy a hat. Come in for a hat, buy a coffee. So
Now you just
Smart.
Oh my God, it's just like
Yeah.
Tom and Dan. I like that. He's like, we still don't know what we are. Yeah, we know all about that, man. We battle that every day.
Now, of course, we watched you open up your first brick and mortar location in Satellite, and it was a beautiful location, by the way. Like, if anybody hasn't, swung by and seen, like, it's just awesome inside.
And coffee on the beach is rad.
Yeah.
it actually last time I was here, we are going to talk about things coming forward with the surf contest and stuff. And I just told you we're opening the new shop, but we haven't launched it yet. And the first thing he said in the air is like, I heard you going brick and mortar for a shop. And we never told anybody. So I was like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I
Wait,
do
are
that.
you releasing the secrets? Are you doing something?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
Yeah.
thanks, man.
Yeah, like he comes in, he's like, "Hey,
Blow it.
don't tell anybody, but we're doing this." And so I'm like,
First
you
question.
Tell me. You were telling me before the show about something. Tell me about that. Where did you bury the body?
Also, never tell me what
Any
I can't
secret.
say.
Yeah, never tell him a secret.
Because
Yeah.
all I could think of is what I can't say.
Oh, I did that with our last guest. We had our guest
It's
from
like
Madden.
his children with bad words. That's all they want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you can't put it back in you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, right?
Like,
Sorry.
That was the grand reveal right there.
Yeah, way to go, Tom.
Like, I forgot where.
Thanks, Tom.
When we were at Science on Tap, and I was like, imagine if I just started screaming the C word.
Yeah, he did say that.
Every time I'm on the
did
mic.
say that.
with you?
He was holding the microphone. He leans over to me and he goes,
Children there.
"Imagine if
I
I
know.
just started screaming the C word for girl parts."
No.
And
but
I'm like, "Why would you do that?"
But that's what I think about when I'm holding the mic, and then I'm like, well, imagine what would happen. Like, would Jeff tackle me? Would people?
the worst thing.
Think I have a brain tumor,
Here's
right?
the worst thing. The worst thing would be
What
that
would
nobody
happen?
would do anything and you'd be heartbroken because you wouldn't matter
Well, we'd
at that
lose
point.
another sponsor,
So you
number
didn't
one.
do
Well,
No,
You didn't even do it once?
No, Alan, no, I just think
no.
about these
He did it
things.
in his brain, though.
Like, you got to play the penis game, and who can say it the
Oh.
loudest.
Yeah.
The penis game? What's the
You
penis
guys
game?
didn't play that in school?
The
Oh,
penis
yeah.
game? I'm not a woman.
No, hold on.
I'm
what-
a man
what-
that doesn't like
Mostly
penises.
boys played the game, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
She's not
Little
wrong.
boys
Yeah.
do play really gay games. They
All
do.
right.
They do. It's what you do when you're a little boy. You're discovering your body. You're trying to figure things out. You don't even know which direction they're going to go. You yank that. You pull this.
Sorry, Mark. So let's talk about the new location in Melbourne. I saw a BDM actually post about the new location, and then they were
They're
like,
like, nobody knows about this. Here's the new location.
Oh, God.
and then I was like, well, Mark's coming in. The internet's too fast. I'm like, we scheduled him to come in to talk about this. And he's like, why aren't we talking about this? I'm like, well, it just. I
Tom
mean,
and Dan are late to the party. They don't even know about the new location.
Well, the
Tom
internet-
hasn't even ruined
Like,
it
are you
yet.
guys going to be there?
you know,
Like,
it's
hold
instant.
on.
Yeah, you're like, as soon as it opens, someone takes a picture, like, it's a new location. Why
How
isn't
come you
Tom
guys haven't talked about it?
I'm like, we need to schedule more. He has to drive over here.
Yeah, I found out about Bubba's tribute. There's a tribute to Johnny for Bubba Whoopus. What's I even know about?
Yeah.
I just found that out through social media.
So, Mark, where's the location at? And I know that when you finished your first location, you're like, man, that was a lot of work to do. And then you're like, oh, and then all of a sudden you
It's like
text me,
people
you're
with
like,
babies. It's like, I'm having another baby.
yeah, you're like, open up a new location. I'm like, why? You just finished the first one.
6 months in.
Okay, so
Nice.
6 months of the first one, we started the second one, which
all right.
It has been totally smooth, not a single problem.
No
whatsoever.
hiccups. No
cities
hiccups.
are really easy to work with.
Yeah,
I've
I heard
heard
that.
that. Yeah.
So downtown Melbourne, right?
Yeah, right. We're right in the middle of downtown Melbourne, pretty close to Mega O'Malley's, probably the most famous place down
Oh,
there. We're
yeah.
across the street, just a little more east. but-
Awesome.
and super cool location, small. We just applied for beer and wine, so that's coming soon.
What?
So that one will be a bar plus coffee, clothing, the whole deal.
Awesome.
Oh, man.
And now is this going to be a thing where you continue to go, or are you going to settling on the two?
You gonna announce our third one already?
Well, you did tell me, and I can't wait to say it.
I thought you were going to talk about something you guys talked about off air, but I don't even know if that's still happening anymore.
I don't know what we can talk about at this point because Tom's just
What
released
can we talk
everything.
about, Mark?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Next location, Ocala, dead center of the state.
Coffee in Ocala.
We had a beach vibe. We're going center, hot, no breeze.
Boards in the
Rainbow
woods.
people.
Now, like when you first got into Villain Coffee, what have you learned? It's been, now how many years?
18 years since the
Okay.
very beginning, and then 4 years since coffee started.
And so, have you always sourced the coffee from the same place? Like,
Yeah, it's all
okay.
locally roasted, literally miles from where our shop is.
Okay, awesome. And what have you learned about coffee since you started?
It's not easy.
Oh, yeah, no, I know. Yeah.
It's one of those things where Starbucks kind of ruined the world with it. Everyone thinks coffees are 30 ounces and 100 grams of sugar, but it's the balance to try to do traditional coffee, but still making those people happy. So that's the hardest part of coffee.
Yeah, because they other like chains will fill it full of sugar.
Yeah.
And, because that's what people are addicted to.
They also have the ability, I think, to use like cut ingredients, right?
Yeah.
Like they can use stuff
for
that's
sure.
not necessarily super healthy or not necessarily like sustainable for your body, but you're still eating it because you're addicted to it.
If your drink's neon pink, it's
yeah. If it's a unicorn something or other, it's like you probably shouldn't be eating it. I have that problem with Maisie. Every sign she sees is like for some like there's one down here. It's like the unicorn waffle cone sundae, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell
sounds
is.
delicious.
It does sound delicious, but it's bright
like
purple.
diabetes waffle.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So Mark, how have you been able to because everybody who is living right now has realized the prices have gone up and skyrocketed
Yeah.
everywhere, and then you go to obviously any sort of event and buy merch at events, and you're buying $70 hoodies and like $45 shirts.
I went to
What's the cheapest shirt you can buy
I
at a
tried
concert?
to get a pair of board shorts over the week. It was like $85.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, that's what I
my
get for not
goodness.
getting villain board shorts.
$36.
Yeah, no,
man,
well, Mark-
100%.
Hope you learn your lesson.
I
man.
did learn my lesson. I did.
Well, okay, I'll tell everybody something I probably shouldn't.
The
because it's
secret
embarrassing.
that he's
Oh,
not
my
supposed to
It's the
say.
third location coming
He
right
has
up.
he has a anal. Oh, okay.
What?
I was gonna talk about the thing.
So-
I'm not gonna talk about it. I'll get mad.
When I do business with another businessman, I expect certain things, right?
Like
for free.
sexual favors.
Oh
No, no,
my
no.
God.
No. Just when I'm like at their business.
I expect some photo swaps.
No, not photo
between
swaps.
men.
No,
Good businessmen will shake each other's hands and then swap photos of each other's wives.
I'll expect the hookup, if I'm like at their store, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, you.
So
you know,
you want free stuff from Mark Villan?
Yeah,
like
no,
he hasn't given us
yeah.
He's given us
hundreds.
tons
no,
of
no.
free stuff.
I
There's a,
don't
there's a
need-
pile of new stuff. Right
All
there.
I do not
right.
need free stuff. I'll take it, but I don't need it. I've got tons of hats. I've got awesome shirts,
So this is
windbreakers,
Board shorts.
board shorts.
So when Villain came out with their Miami Dolphin inspired
Yes.
clothing line,
Yeah.
Which, by the way, someone in the chat wants you to release some women's Miami Dolphins themed clothing.
We got some, but we'll
No, they want more.
well,
More.
Jeez Louise. We want more, Mark Villan.
Nobody in the chat said anything about the Buccaneers clothing.
I mean,
or-
I would love that, but
See, we're gonna
Was
do
there
that.
Buccaneers clothing?
no.
I haven't seen any.
It'd be a lot cooler.
I like
if we
Mark's
did.
like, no.
I'm never doing that.
Jeez.
all my friends from Miami freaked out
Yeah.
because they were like, "Oh, we need to get some of this," and then
Hey, Tom, get us some for free.
Well, I thought you were driving.
How'd
down
you know
there.
they said that?
Because they're just like you. It's the Miami friend syndrome.
Hold on a second. I know part of this story that you may not even know I know.
Let's hear it.
Your wife reached out to my wife and said, hey, look at these cool Miami-inspired whatever. that
Well, she
Mark-
got Andrea those
Did she
shorts
get 'em?
for her birthday. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay,
Well,
okay.
because so long story short, Mark's such a cool person. He's like he hooked me up. But then I get more and more texts. Fernando, James, everybody's like, hey, get me a large button down.
Tell your cheapo friends to support a small business.
It's
This
not
is
even,
sad.
it's a
So
value
well,
price.
embarrassing.
Then I just started. Then I was like, wait a minute. The button down 25, like
Yeah.
Right.
everything. I just started buying it, and I was like,
And selling it for more.
Don't tell him that.
I couldn't believe how reasonable all your prices are, and I'm guessing the only way you could do that is because
when people buy it.
Oh no, but you also have your own factories that
it
make it.
helps.
You make it
Right.
all.
Yeah,
right?
we're beginning to end, so
Yeah.
there's no middleman, so it makes it easy.
So, but you do offer insanely like custom, well-made apparel for an
And it's
insanely
really
reasonable
stylish,
price.
you know. It's
You know,
not like
yeah,
Yeah, like,
it's not. Yeah, it's great stuff.
And I'm sure, like everywhere else, your prices for shipping and everything else has gone up, but you're able to keep your prices low. It's just pretty amazing.
Yeah, he doesn't pay me a whole lot.
So sorry, Alan.
Yeah.
does he at least give you some hookups like he does Mr. Tom Van here?
Well, he can't because he gave it all to me.
Yeah.
So no
And
more
sorry about
margin.
those hookups you lost because of Tom.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes back around, maybe some Tampa Bay merch for you.
Yeah, he's always like, hey, let me text Tom and make sure he doesn't want it before I let you have it for 20
Yeah. Hey, Tom, I'm going in there to get your board shorts. Yeah.
But has that always been like you want to keep your prices low?
Yeah, I mean, it just feels wrong to sell it for more than you should. Like, what I'm paying for it to what we sell it for is fair. So.
Yeah, but you know, it's I mean, you know, you've seen the prices of other things. You could sell that button down for $10 more, and people would still think it's cheap.
Yeah.
But you
yeah,
don't.
for sure.
You
get a Roosevelt shirt, they're like $70 at least.
Yeah. It's nuts.
Have you been doing any traveling lately?
Not just because of the new shop.
Right, that's what I thought.
Working on we got
keeping you close to
farm and shops.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
it.
Mark, you got the life. Every time Mark's texts me, like, I'm surfing. So he's like, you know, surfing. Or he's like, I'm in Montana now.
Yeah. We need
He's like, out Costa Rica.
We need to double back with you about ordering. We need to order one of those little mini trucks.
Oh, whatever you want.
Yeah, can we need
Mine's
one.
a Honda. But
Look, he has a Honda. We need one, and we'll just wrap it for the show, and that's how we'll go get our orders and stuff. Like when I went to pick up the Shark Week trophy. How great would it look if I pulled up in a little mini key truck? And I'll even dress in Tom and Dan like fatigues. I'll have like a uniform and a hat and everything. I'll look like the Napa girl.
We got a text from Tom tomorrow. Hey, can you get me a mini truck?
Oh my God.
That's not me. I would never say that. I bought my coffee.
And you just got done with the Surf Expo, correct?
Yeah, Surf Expo is always insane. It's our busiest event of the year. That was our 6th one, I think, because there's 2 a year. September will be next, but it's the 50 people in line from the minute we get there till the minute we leave. Like,
That's awesome.
Any famous people at Surf Expo this year, or
who do you think?
sometimes
think,
they have
the
like,
Hobgoods.
famous
Hobgoods are always there. Pat O'Connell from Endless Summer 2
Very cool.
was there. He's always a super, super cool guy, too.
Ben Gravy.
Where are our AI and digital surfboards?
What do you mean?
Where's the tech in the surfing community?
Well, there's not much.
No, it's pretty
else,
simple.
you know.
It's pretty simple.
If you could put an electric motor on there, so you don't
They
have to
already
paddle
have
out.
that. They already have that.
I like how the waves push you, but paddling out, you know,
it's
you
hard.
have.
That's like Zuckerberg. Didn't he have like a...
Yeah. He has one that he can ride.
Alan,
Yes.
so how's it working for Mark?
Wait, how much
Think
time do
about
we
it.
have?
Yeah.
Not a lot, because we got to wrap this segment up.
No, it's cool, man. I've known Mark for probably about 10 years now that I've kind of been doing events with him and stuff. You know, but he's hey man, you want to come manage it for me? And I've been working in and out of restaurants forever. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's been cool.
What's the hours of the new Melbourne spot?
8 to 5 right now.
Okay.
8 to 5 until we get beer and wine.
And
Cool.
I have to ask, because someone in the chat did ask, are you going to have the T&D coffee at that location?
We can.
Okay.
Yeah,
So look for it.
We'll talk about that. Me and Mark will do some business.
Okay. All right. That's more. How many button downs you need?
I
to
apologize for asking.
Yeah. That's gonna be 12 Miami-inspired button downs.
I was scanning the site before
Yeah,
Mark
yeah.
came in. I was like,
Yeah,
what?
how
I know, I was like, I want these orange
How
bike
about you
shorts.
throw in a couple of those bike shorts and maybe a fanny pack for old daddy.
Yeah, and then it's always awkward, and I have to tell the person manning the cashier, like, did Mark mention I was gonna come by? You know, before
By
they,
chance did Mr. Villain announce that?
you gotta catch them before they start ringing you up, because then it's
Yeah.
real awkward.
At the end, when they go and then they cash or credit, and you're like, "Do you accept Villain?"
I have Mark's cell phone number.
I'm a friend. I'm sure everybody does that, right? Does everybody say they're a friend of Mark's?
All the time. I mean, I'm.
Don't do
I'm
that,
never-
dude. Don't do that.
No, they text me every time it comes.
Now say
That
you're a
guy
friend of
was here
Alan.
again.
Now you can say Alan. It'll sound better.
2 locations, Satellite
Yep.
Beach in downtown Melbourne, villainclothingcompany.com.
Yeah, go on there, check it out, man.
Yeah.
Get yourself some gear.
Villainclothing.com, I should say.
Yeah,
If you
yeah.
search Villain Clothing Company, you know, do I have to say the .com
Yeah, you do. It
anymore?
would be
Just-
better,
Just
yeah.
put the name in Google
Well, if
and
you're
it
just-
comes up.
But if you're
It's
just
a .net.
One less shirt. Thanks, guys, for coming by. We appreciate it, and we will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
all right, we got it. Still on Twitch and YouTube, saving it.
Keep my pants on.
No, you're good, man. Thank you guys again for doing
Yeah,
that.
thank you guys.
Where's that go, Sam?
That is tonight. Tonight, segment 4.
Tonight.
Tonight.
Wednesday, January 31st.
Got it.
We actually do have a third one in the plan.
Great.
You are still on
In the
Twitch
plan.
and YouTube.
In the plan.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
saying the plan.
It's actually in Ocala. I don't know how he knew that. But,
You know.
Oh, yeah, by the way, that's yours.
Yeah.
You gotta go there.
It is funny because he's like, we're going not beach adjacent, and it's straight middle hot.
Have you heard of fellas?
In the forest.
Awesome. Thank you guys
Thank
again,
you.
man. Appreciate you and always good
Yeah,
seeing
man.
you. We saved that.
Yeah,
We
you
went,
too.
high five, stop. Handshake.
my friend. Yeah, you guys got some stuff right here.
Cool.
Aw,
It's
man,
good
that's too
seeing
cool of you
you.
guys.
Or, what's it called? Point Break? Did you see our Point Break shirt?
No, let me walk in there. Oh, no way.
Hey guys, since it's just me now, it's me and you, buddy. I have been asked because our friend Brendan. Thank you.
You really like those orange shorts that are on the
I do,
website?
yeah.
I think I have some. I'll bring you some.
Hell yeah, thank you. Sweet.
These hats, the ones that you can get wet.
These are my favorite ones.
Yeah, man.
Our friend Brendan was supposed to dress up as Brenda from Bithlow and be out at the Fairvilla Valentine's event that's happening tomorrow at the Megastore on OBT, but he is sick. So Deborah has asked me to go and host it. So if you guys want to do something tomorrow, come hang out with me at Fairvilla.
Because I just would keep washing it and washing it.
Yeah, it's a Point Break shirt. Did you see that?
Great hat, but I think I went a little too crazy with it. Well, thank you guys again, man. Very good seeing you guys.
Yep. And then once we get open with beer and wine, we'll whatever we gotta do to do watering hole stuff. And, we started flying today or yesterday. So
What time's Keith?
2 to 3 months.
2:15.
Oh, great. So we have a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Might as well stay on.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see it, but there's a Point Break inspired shirt right
Yeah, I got a crop top.
there. That pink hoodie or that off-color hoodie is awesome. With the oh, did you get? That's great.
Oh yeah, with the,
I'll definitely wear the gray pink hoodie. I wish. It's the only thing I do wish we had a little bit more cool. Is I love a good hoodie.
Yeah.
okay, all right. That'd be an easy way.
I don't think it's kid friendly
To what?
to the Valentine's Fairville event tomorrow.
Safe
I
travels,
do
y'all.
believe you have to be 18 to
See you
enter
soon.
Fairvilla. It's Team No Kids.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to take your kids to the 7 p.m.
Yeah, I don't think they can
Fairvilla
even get in there.
event. No.
Do you remember when did you guys, like, when you turned 18, like, one of the first things you did was what? Buy a lottery ticket, buy a pack of cigarettes, and go to either a strip club or a sex store?
Yes, I put it in.
I think Premier Adult Factory Outlet was my first
It's funny.
sex store.
I
Adult
didn't do
store.
sex store. I did strip club.
Mm-hmm. I still haven't done that.
I
37.
did the dollhouse.
Yes.
The girl reached
Still there?
down my pants and adjusted my cock. Yes, you have to say cock because it sounds gross, and because it was gross. And then she grinded on me until I almost came my pants.
There's a lot of strip clubs you can't even go in until you're 21.
Yeah.
Because
The good ones.
They don't want. They want people buying drinks. You know.
Right.
No, we didn't. And then by the time I was working at the radio station, I was like 19. And then I already knew Fairvilla because they were a client. So the first time I went to Fairvilla, I was invited by probably Deborah, to tell you the truth. So if you think about me being 19 or 20, I've known Deborah for 27 years. Fucking A, dude.
What are you looking for, Tom?
Nothing.
Okay. That's a lie.
I was looking for all the stuff you gave me already.
Okay.
Yeah, Jackal. That is correct. Takes you where you want to go.
Premier Adult Factory Outlet. Oh, what was that other? Oh, Love Boutique that was on Taff Island.
There was one.
It had the big Cupid on top of the car. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's still around.
There's Sweethearts. There was Ambrosia.
I don't know that one.
What are some of the biggest movies that people know Keith from?
He was Dr. Facilier in The Princess and the Frog.
Yeah, probably.
He was in The Thing.
I was gonna say, wasn't he in?
He's been in so much.
It's too much. It's what was it?
Was he in True Lies? Oh, this is a TV.
The
series.
TV show, The Hood. What was it? Nightmare in the Hood, or what was it? What's the name of that fucking movie?
He was the cat in Coraline. Transformers 2, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Head of State, Chronicles of Riddick, Requiem for a Dream, Home is Where the Heart Is. Something About Mary. Remember, he was trying to get Ben Stiller's dick out of the zipper.
Oh yeah. He's the
Armageddon.
Something About Mary. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I mean, he's been in fucking
Yeah,
everything.
yeah. There's something about Mary. Yeah, you're right.
How'd you get the Frank above the beans? I just quoted that the other day
You did.
Well, there you go.
with my sons.
You've quoted it on the show though before.
Did that happen to your son? Or something? Like, why did you say that to your son?
Well, I was warning him about the dangers of zipping your pants
Like,
too
too fast?
Oh, it's
fast.
even worse when you have a foreskin, dude.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's even worse because it's more likely to happen.
Is it how'd you get the beans above the Frank?
Is the Frank or the? I pulled up the line just so you can see it. Here it is.
Exactly what the hell is the situation? What, did you shit yourself or something?
Oh, I wish. I got it stuck.
You got what stuck?
It.
Oh! It, listen, it's not the end of the world. These kind of things happen. Let's have a look at it.
He puts his glasses on.
Oh, for God, never sake! Shh! Sheila!
No.
Sheila, honey?
Don't.
Sheila, honey, you gotta come here. You gotta see this.
What? No.
Don't come in here, honey.
Don't.
Don't worry. She's a dental hygienist. She'll know exactly what to do.
Hi, Ted.
Hi, Mrs. Jensen. How are you?
You okay?
Yeah.
Holy shit! Charlie could have warned me.
Keep it down.
Okay,
I'm sorry, Mrs. Jensen. I just don't want her. I don't want her here. You know.
Let's just relax here, okay? Now, what exactly are we looking at here?
What do you mean?
Is that Margie Post?
Well, I mean, is
Margie
it the or the?
Is it the Frank or the beans?
Right.
I don't know. It looks like I think it's a little bit of both.
Break some veins! Break some veins!
Different time.
Yeah, it's a different time.
What's that bubble there?
What do you think? It's a.
Well, how the hell did you get the beans above the Frank? I mean,
There you go.
Beans above the Frank.
The chat's screaming for you to fix the cameras.
Oh well, I mean,
Cameras!
well, I wasn't playing it for you guys. I'm playing it for us. You guys can stare at the lobby. You don't. you don't get to. You don't get to do that. There, going back to the fucking lobby.
What time
Fight the
are we supposed to go home
beans.
again?
2:15.
Oh, okay.
So we got like 12 minutes.
Yeah. No.
Fangs and
You can
beans.
talk to the chat, or
He wasn't masturbating. I forgot EJ was in that movie.
Is the brother?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Same haircut, same body, same backpack, same Slurpee straw,
Same interests.
same interests. Yes. Same level of. No, the guy in the movie is actually more successful.
Yeah. And funnier.
Yeah, and he's not really like that. He was acting. EJ's not acting. This is real. Where is he? Was he masturbating in there? He wasn't masturbating in there, right?
He was peeing, wasn't
I
he?
forget the movie. Yeah, he's just peeing.
Before like prom or something. It's been a long time
Yeah.
since I watched that.
That was a great movie, though. I remember it was one of the only comedies that I'd seen where I was like, oh, well, all comedies are going to end up being like this now because this is the way it needs to go.
What's the one actor's name that's like the scumbag in the movie that
used to date her that freaks out? Wubby? That's Chris.
No, not him. The other guy that he's dating her, but he's a dickhead. And
what?
That's dating Mary before.
Yeah,
Matt Dillon?
Yeah, Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
Matt Dillon.
I don't think he's a scumbag.
He plays a great one.
movie.
Yeah.
No, in the movie. I mean, I thought you meant in real life.
No.
Yeah. He's a great actor.
Yeah,
I mean,
and he plays a great dickhead.
He's got a hilarious line that I see on TikTok every once in a while, like about he's with Mary and then the brother's there, and then God, look up Matt Dillon something about Mary and. R word.
There's a lot of quotes.
He says, "I work with R words."
Oh yeah. Play that for the.
Okay, I'll find it.
He says, "Really, it's only a side thing for my true passion." Oh, do you have it?
Yeah. That's cute. I don't buy it, but it's cute.
I guess I do.
I guess I just wish they made movies like they used to.
Don't put your music. I don't need you to do a tribute to Healy.
So after telling Mary that he's an architect, Pat Healy says, really, it's only a side thing for my true passion. Mary says, and what's that? And he says, I work with R words. She says, isn't that a little politically incorrect? He says, yeah, maybe, but hell, no one's going to tell me who I can and can't work with.
Yeah,
yeah, here it is.
It's just a job, really, something to keep me moving. My real passion is my hobby.
Really? What's that?
I work with retards.
Isn't that a little politically, incorrect?
Oh, the hell with that. No one's going to tell me who I can and can't work with, right?
Yeah, get him. What a great joke. It was a different time.
But well, you could do that joke now.
Yeah.
Because the character is the character.
You definitely could. But you couldn't have a main character that's pretending to have Down syndrome with earmuffs on his head or autistic who's pretending to be that way.
I think you could. I mean, did you watch a lot of actors have played
special
needs.
Like 20 years ago.
No, I just watched one the other day, Banshees of Inisherin. Or Inisherin, I don't know how to say that damn name.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Inisherin.
I think people are getting to the
Colin
point where
Farrell movie?
You cannot have someone with actual Down syndrome unless they're a really good actor play this part because it has to be. This is a movie. We're having actors.
It's not a thing, and you're acting. Sure, that's what I believe.
And I think that a lot of the outrage or stuff that has been like
Corky in Life Goes On. He was great.
Chris Burke is his name, right?
I don't know.
I mean, he was great at playing himself, I believe. But he like what Tom's saying is, in order to you're not going to cast him to, you know what I mean.
Well, and I don't think now a lot of people are disregarding internet outrage and don't give a fuck.
Oh yeah,
because whatever, there's okay, who cares?
No, what I'm saying is I'm approaching it from the standpoint of a movie studio. They are not going to typically do that because it would be going out on a limb, and they're not going to do it.
Yeah. Going back to my theme of MegaCon and why these people do this, why did they do it?
Ask him.
For this guy.
This guy went to Juilliard. There's no reason he should be talking about
Well, I mean, I don't know his financial situation. I mean, who knows?
He's never stopped working in 40 years.
Yeah, it looks like.
But what's his net worth? I don't know. I don't know. Was he got financial troubles? He's a degenerate gambler? I don't know.
But in the entertainment industry, right? We all kind of can understand a piece of it. So the gigs where you just have to, especially when you're an actor and everybody doesn't fully comprehend the difference between your character and who you are as a person, and that the fact that that's totally different, and you can't base our character off of, because there are insane people and people that are naive to that, and then dealing with just days and days of potential people that are crazy, don't know how to talk to you, rude when they talk to you. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of praise and good people that are just compliment you, and it feels good to that. But then all the other annoying parts of it, you would think that
there's
price
a lot of
level
handling too.
Yeah.
If they've got it organized correctly, and if your handlers know what to look for, I mean, maybe it's streamlined now. They know exactly what to do. It's like if a person's starting to say something that would be deemed relatively clingy or inappropriate, they're like, okay, we're going to move you on down. They're ready to go.
But just being nice and actively engaged to humans over and over all day long is tiring. You know what I'm saying?
Tiring.
Because it sounds weird, but if you are not a celebrity or have been in a situation where you have to be actively engaged in conversation with a variety of strangers,
most people can't do it.
It's a lot of work.
It is.
You know what I'm saying? So that you would think that you would prefer if it would, not to do that if you had a choice because of how much work it is comparatively. Maybe you like it.
I think people do like it, though, and the chat room brings up some interesting points that I do think that, we, meaning you, me, and Sam, are not actors. So most of those guys, just by the design of what they like to do, they enjoy it. What they're doing by going there, appearing, and then maybe acting a certain way to people is really, it's acting, and they like acting, so it fits the box.
So are they acting when they're there?
Well, I'm not saying they're not, but they like the attention because they are actors. That's proven. And it's certainly easy, I would imagine, for an actor to act a certain way. Yeah, I think they're the guys.
But for them, but that seems exhausting for 3 full days.
I'm sure it is exhausting.
I'm
sure it's tiring, but I'm sure he likes it.
Because for us, it's easier than actors because our listeners are talking to us because they know us as people. But this is
probably a fairly easy gig for them. Think about when they're actually, well, besides his voice acting, obviously that's going to be a lot easier. But when you're on sets for hours a day and you got to remember lines, that's harder than just smiling for a picture with a fan.
Yeah, and what you're saying, I disagree with you. Him meeting a person for one split second, he's an Uber fan with people around him insulated. They're moving down a line and he just has to say hi, take a photo, and shake their hands is infinitely easier than us oversharing what we do in our lives and then standing at a bar and having a guy talk to me about it for 45 minutes.
Yeah, I guess the line aspect of them just shuffling out.
I think what we do is harder because people know everything about our lives, almost every instance of what we've done. Maybe, the exaggeratory version of it, but for the most part, it's all real stuff.
But at least that's a less awkward conversation because you're talking to us than if you're meeting Keith, you don't know anything maybe about his life and you only know him from his characters. So then if they want to talk to you, because everybody in the line, I'm sure,
well,
wants
you're not
that
buying a talk.
You're
buying a
photo
and a signature.
Yeah, but you know how people are. They want to kind of, and then you have to do the awkward thing where you try to shuffle them along.
See, you're saying that. You're saying you have to do that awkward thing.
Some people, it's not awkward.
It's not awkward for me to do it. I have no problem looking at the person. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming. We got to get these other people now. Thank you. It's not awkward.
Okay.
It's just a thing.
Okay.
It's only awkward if it's awkward. Especially if the person is just paying for it. It's an exchange. Now we're in a contract. There's no awkwardness there.
Yeah. Well, that to me, I know it's to me, but even the fact that people paying for a picture and you taking a picture with them is an awkward thing to do. in my mind. It's just the whole process is kind of weird. It's like you paid your $10, they swipe your card, you wait in line, you take a picture, and then like
it's not something you would do.
Everybody, and then it's like, I don't know. You would think it's like, why not?
It's an experience.
Hang out on the weekend.
Meeting.
Why
do
would
what
you
you
ask
want.
him?
You mean
insulting?
Is it insulting?
Oh, you mean for him? Why not hang? Well, I'm sure he does. But if you could do like 10 of these,
or even just the one a year.
If you do 1, 2,
Easy money.
5, whatever. I mean, why not? Yeah, but we should ask him why he does it. But even that,
but
is
ask it
a
in
little insulting.
You can ask it in a way that's like praising him, to be like, look, man, you went to Juilliard, you're an established, theater actor, movie actor, voiceover actor. Like, why do MegaCon?
That's insulting to
I don't
me.
think that's insulting.
I think that's an insulting way to ask the question. That would be like asking me, and this has happened. Why are you at this gas station?
Well, that's different. The gas station.
You were there.
Why are you at the gas station?
And then I'd be like, because they're paying me.
Why are you asking me to buy you a Mountain Dew to wash down your cakesters? I don't know.
And then I have to admit to that person that I'll do anything for $300, including stand at a shitty gas station, and that is
Castleberry,
insulting.
Keith David.
And then when I have to say it out loud, then it's embarrassing to everybody.
So is it one of those things where it's like, why are you doing this? And you're like, why am I doing it? Is it that?
No, they have to admit they're only doing it for the money. Now, if they were doing it because they actually enjoy it, that would be an interesting thing. But I think it's for the money.
We'll shy away from.
On behalf of Tom and Dan. Hi, can you hear me? He has a joke voicemail.
Oh, is it? Hello?
He has an old man. You want to call it? He has an old man joke voicemail, and it got me.
I can't even breathe right now because I was watching.
I was like, yeah, can you hear me?
I'm watching and listening. And
he did it.
And my anxiety when you said, "Can you hear me?" I'm like, "Oh God, the phone lines are screwed up," and that's why I turned because I was gonna reset stuff.
I'll call him again, or do you want to call him so you can hear it?
Yeah, go ahead and call it. And just throw it on hold, and I'll grab it. I'll grab it. Just tell me.
It pops up quick, so just.
Okay. I'll hit them both.
Now I love him even more. Alright, I'm going to throw it on hold. So it'll be line 1.
Hello? Are you there? Oh, hi. Listen, I'm not here.
And then it just hangs up?
No, when I listened to it, it went longer, but yeah, he got me good.
By the way, it almost got me right. I was like,
that might be him calling back.
Oh, okay.
Try line 1.
I was like, Keith, right here.
Hello, it's Tom and Dan.
Yeah, it's Billy. How's it going? Good?
Oh,
Yeah.
hey, Billy. Yeah,
All right,
hey, Bill, you're on the YouTube and Twitch right now. We tried to...
Okay, yeah. I was just letting you know that Keith said to call him at 2:30. He's delayed a few minutes.
Oh, no worries.
Okay.
No worries. We'll give him a couple minutes. Thank you, buddy. We appreciate it, Billy.
Okay, all right. Have a good day.
All right,
Thanks.
man.
Bye-bye.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that's why he's...
You got me
By the way,
good.
that is why he's called the phone freak. Did you hear the level of... Okay.
He's got things to do, man.
It's like Tuttle. It's very much... That's why it's fast. Guy goes rapid fire fast.
We need to talk to Billy about weird. We need to do a
Listen.
weird job with Billy.
Too fast to be
Keith
talked to.
is fun. That's why he does MegaCon.
I think
He has a goof voicemail.
Yeah, that's probably the answer. I didn't even want to factor that in, but that was a very fun voicemail. You'd never have that.
It must be so much better to be fun
Yes,
and be
it
an
is.
entertainer.
No, but you are fun. I think you are fun. You're just in a different way. Yesterday, dude, at the end of the day, when we were rounding that last corner and we powered the boat down to get our last segment, the look on Tom's face was pure fun.
Well, I'm out on my boat.
Yeah, it was awesome.
That's fun to me. Now, if that was my job, miserable. Because that's a job. If it was my job to...
But you said on the I think it was on the show, might have been off the show yesterday, that you're like, I could be like I could take people out on tours, then it would be a job. So you think if you were an actual touring captain...
ruin it. Yeah,
okay.
Because then it's work.
Yeah.
Work's not supposed to be fun.
Well, that
Work's
explains a
supposed
lot
to be
here.
work. Yeah, that's what it has to be. Work has to be
It
work.
doesn't have to be bad. I just think it has to be rewarding.
I'm joking about miserable, but yeah, but work, it should be work. It shouldn't be fun. Fun should be
Oh, he's calling
fun.
now. That's his number.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Line 1.
Hello, it's Tom and Dan.
Hi, it's Keith David.
Oh,
Hi.
Keith, thank you so much. And apologies if we blew up
Interrupted anything, yeah.
your phone a little too early. We
Oh,
called.
no, it's okay. Can you just give me 10 minutes?
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. We'll give you 10.
All right. Okay, I'll call you right back.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take
Bye.
care.
Is this going to be for Thursday 1? Probably, because it's going to be there Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. We can put it Thursday.
2?
Yeah.
That was the
Thursday.
interview.
We'll do Thursday too.
That was the interview. We did it.
How sweet. He called us to let us know.
That is very old school. It's easier to
Very
work with the
polite.
old school people. They're very polite.
Well, they're used to the media.
Yeah.
No one.
How many awards does this guy have?
If you're getting famous right now, you're not doing media for the most part.
No, it'll be a dying.
You'll
art.
do the big shows or whatever,
Yeah.
but
you won't know how to handle yourself unless somebody tells you. Or is there just a new way to do it? There's probably just a new way to do it. I don't know. I prefer this though. It's very organized and.
Well, maybe because it's like when we were talking to Dustin just about like how he prefers from like EA, he was like, I like the regular conversation. You don't get that in most mainstream media at all. You get a very
I
bizarre.
could have gone longer with that. I felt bad that it was today because he was very relaxed and he was giving us like long form answers, and I had a bunch of new like. Once I realized that he doesn't work as much on the MUT side of things, I kind of pulled back a lot of my other questions I have about Madden. I love that game.
Because there's a weird way to do traditional media that will be,
obsolete.
Yeah. But it is like every time.
Probably a good thing though that it'll be obsolete, right?
When we do like TV hits, it's bizarre. And there's no way to make it not bizarre.
Well, they're easy.
It's so
though.
unnatural.
They're so easy because you don't need to say. You will not like.
I wonder when there will be a shift though, because like morning news didn't always used to be that way.
I think we're in it. I think we're in it because like if you think about it, like we always talk about this, and Tom's always talking about it's like turning a cruise ship, and I think we're in it. We've already watched the demise of the late night show, right? That's a whole different thing. Late night shows are consumed by bite-sized clips on social media.
Yeah, I'm surprised they still like aired.
Because those bite-sized clips
Jimmy
are what's
Kimmel
keeping them alive,
yeah.
or those bite-sized clips. Every morning when I walk in here, I'll see bite-sized clips of like, look, Jimmy Kimmel's fighting with Aaron Rodgers. Look, Jimmy Fallon and the Roots played with Dua Lipa, and they played tiny toy instruments. It's not from the show. It's just
social media.
Social media. Stupid.
But when do they stop doing the show? When there's
soon. I hate them all. All the late night shows are terrible.
I haven't watched a late night show, and I don't know how long.
Yeah, for me,
I would like to check out Taylor Tomlinson, but I'm just like, I'll just see her stand up. I don't know if I need to watch her late night show. I don't know. I'd like to support her, but I don't know. There's just so much content out there.
Yeah, I mean, like, does anybody are late night shows sought after? Like, oh, this guest was on. I was with Carson Daly. Does he still do a show?
I don't know if he does.
Who's the other guy?
Right now?
Jimmy Fallon.
Fallon,
So
Kimmel.
Yeah, he just had old Timberlake on.
It was like Jimmy Fallon is someone like, oh, Jimmy Fallon had Justin Timberlake or whatever. Like, I'm going to go.
People either love Jimmy Fallon or hate Jimmy Fallon.
Same with Justin Timberlake now.
Yeah.
People were giving Justin Timberlake crazy shade on the SNL appearance. Supposedly,
I didn't even watch it.
Supposedly because...
Well, he got trolled by all the Britney army because his new single got ambushed by a 2013 song by Britney Spears that went to the charts.
Yeah, they did that, and then you had the
top 5 videos on iTunes.
Then you had the Ben Shapiro rap song that fucked up.
I didn't even listen to that.
Yeah, I listened to it. It's fine. Yeah, whatever. It's just famous people doing famous things to stay famous. I like Seth Meyers too. Yeah, Seth was really good. Seth Meyers has a local writer. That's pretty cool, EJ.
Is there anybody in our chat room that watches late night
TV?
Like
I don't know.
Talk shows.
Like a late night talk
Melissa,
show?
I'm with you 100%. And I met Jimmy Fallon at Stetson University when he was doing his stand-up there at Edmond Center back in the day. And he was a very nice guy, but he's different now.
Oh, I know.
Oh, Jari Wright.
I did not know he wrote for Myers.
Me neither. That's huge. Very cool.
Like, even people that consume local news, what are they watching it for?
I like it. I like to see what's going on with like the people that I am. Like, I do keep up with political elections. I do like to vote locally. I do like to do that sort of stuff. I like to know. I don't know. I don't like being clueless. I never have been, so I kind of like knowing what's going on. Like, so I would be more apt to watch local news than I would national news.
It's just usually the stories are about like there's a murder that happened or like this happened. It's all things like, well, there's not information that it affects my life or I need to know about or that I could do anything about or that what does it benefit me to know?
No, I know, but I think most people would say like it could benefit you and your family more than any other nonsense information you're downloading into your self that doesn't do anything, like a television show, sports,
well,
like,
that's entertainment,
right. I mean, like, but the news and knowing what's going on around you, feeling like you are up to date. I mean, I guess there's a form of entertainment there too, and getting like knowing what's happening around you.
But you're only seeing their like a small snippet of what they deem even important, which is not. It's like so old school way of like, here's some news, and you're like, well, what news? Like, I'm interested in this. Like, in a day and age where everything just comes to you that you're interested in, it's weird and antiquated to me that we still present the news of like, here, this is what happened, but this is like what we deem important.
Right.
And then it's odd because we get our information so custom tailored to our own interests.
Yeah,
now.
But a lot of that information, I guess the argument for that would be that you would like to think, and I'm not saying this is the case, but you would like to think that these institutions that are there are doing the legwork to what they're giving you is factual. Just because I'm watching a TikTok video of something happening doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah.
So there's no vetting.
Right.
Keith, can you hear us okay? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear us okay, Keith?
I'm good.
Okay. All righty. Thank you so much for the time, man. We appreciate it. We'll get started right now.
No worries, mate.
All right. Here we go. In 3, 2.
On the line with us right now, he's going to be at MegaCon February 1st through the 4th at the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando. And he's been in so many different movies that I couldn't even start to list them for you.
There is truly no starting point to where, I mean, like, which question or which movie or famous person or voice do you even ask about? On the line with us right now is, and you know who this is, Mr. Keith David. How you doing, man?
Hey, man, if I were any better, I would have to take something for it.
Love it.
So, Keith, I'm curious.
Keith is fun.
That you've been in so many different movies. I'm curious to, when you do like things like MegaCon, what's the number one reference that people come up and make to you?
It varies. It really does vary. I mean, actually lately, because I just finished doing it, we just started. We just opened up the first season of Has Been Hotel. So I've already gotten some Has Been Hotel asks.
Wow.
I think the last con that I was at, I get mostly The Thing. I get a lot of Thing requests.
I would think that it's but I say it all the time. I was just telling my kids the other day, how'd you get the beans above the Frank from Something About Mary?
Yeah.
I thought you get a lot of beans above the Frank.
Yeah, I mean, you have so many
I get a few of those. Yes, I do get a few of those.
Yes.
Are there any strange ones you get, though, where you have somebody come up and then they reference something that maybe even you've forgotten you've done because, you've done, I mean, at this point, thousands
over
of
300 roles.
Yeah, I mean, like, do you ever?
I have. I'm always sort of taken aback, or when somebody tells me Requiem for a Dream was my favorite movie.
That's always scary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some though. I mean, but iconic scenes, you know, and iconic voices that you've done. Was there a time? I mean, going to Juilliard, you know, and really perfecting your craft. When was the definitive time that you knew that you wanted to perform? Was there one that you can think of?
I have been an actor my whole life, and I have always wanted to act and sing. I started doing that from the time I was like 2 years old. Wow. And I would, you know, my grandfather used to throw these bus rides, and I would be in the back of the bus entertaining the troops. And, you know, so, you know, I mean, I really, really wanted to be an actor my whole life. I wanted to be an actor, and I wanted to be a minister. And then I wanted to be a lawyer. And when I watched Topper, I wanted to be a bank president. So I could be an actor and I could do all those.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah. I never thought about that.
Keith, how was it meeting Fred Rogers? I watched, you know, the Mr. Rogers documentary, and super interesting dude. And you, you know, played a handyman on Mr. Rogers. And what was that experience like?
You know, the first time I met Fred Rogers, it was a kind of a surreal experience because if you can go back to those pictures of Dutch masters, and they have that white collar around their necks.
Yeah.
Well, he walked over to me, and he said, "Hi, I'm Fred Rogers. Welcome to the neighborhood."
Aww.
And he just came out of the makeup chair, so he had tissue paper coming out of his collar. And it was like, you know, I mean, I had at that time been on a sound stage before, so I knew why he looked like that, but it was kind of surreal. But the thing that was the most significant thing was he was exactly who he appeared to be. He was just the nicest human being that I have almost ever met in life. He was just a nice man, a very beautiful man.
Yeah, it's funny you hear that about everybody that actually got to work with him, and like you've been fortunate enough to work with, you know, so many different people. Are there any other people that you would say stand out as somebody you got to work with that truly exemplified those like really good human qualities like Fred did?
You may not know who she is, but I worked with a wonderful, wonderful, splendid actress. Her name was Irene Worth. She played the grandmother in Brighton Beach Memoirs.
Okay, yeah.
And I got to do 2 plays with her. One of them was Coriolanus with Christopher Walken.
Wow.
And we became friends, and we did Prometheus together. We read Prometheus at the 92nd Street Y, and she was just a grand dame.
Yeah.
She was really, I mean, just the nicest woman in the world.
Keith, I'm super curious, and I have to ask you this because I've always wondered with these megacons, like when you have people that meet you and they're super excited because you've been in iconic films and they're fans of yours, so they meet you with a particular energy, and I'm sure you try to match the energy, and it's exhausting to me. Like with you're meeting fans and they're taking pictures with you and talking to you, and they want to get it all in because they only have a small amount of time, and so that whole process is very exhausting and difficult to me. But do you enjoy it? And like, you know, because I think the average person doesn't realize like how much energy it takes to be at a MegaCon and engage with fans all day.
I think all of the above is true. I love doing it. That's why I do it as often as I have been. But it's work. It is exhausting. You know, nobody wants to know how bad a day I'm having. A couple of cons ago, I lost a friend. I got the news that I lost a friend, but I had to go on with the rest of the day. and it was shocking. And it hit me kind of hard.
Sure.
But in that sense, the show must go on. Nobody needed to know what was going on in my life at that point. I couldn't stop. I took a few minutes. I took 10 minutes and washed my face and, walked away from the table for a few minutes. But then I came back because, again, work was another way to exercise all those feelings and to process all those feelings without sitting there feeling sorry for myself or crying in my soup.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that must have been, insanely difficult, but also it tells me just from, your extensive career and how much work you've done.
Yeah, born to do it.
Well, you have a grinding mentality and you have an incredible work ethic. Have you always had that and applied it to everything you do?
Well, it has, I have now been in this business almost 45 years, and it has certainly developed over the course of time. And I realize how important my work ethic is because it gets me through the most difficult time.
Yeah. Yeah, you're touching on something that I think all of us here like to do. Sometimes the necessary love of your acting, the con, getting to meet other people that appreciate what you do, almost in some way, carrying through with that is a great way to honor your friend, instead of, sitting there sad, exactly. That's absolutely great, man. Sam, you got a question for Keith?
I do not. I do want to say I do appreciate your joke voicemail because when I did call you originally for this interview, you got me good, Keith. You got me good.
Yeah, we did. You got all of us. We loved it. We heard it, and we're sitting there, and she fell for it. Then we all fell for it. It's priceless.
Appreciate
man.
it.
That is good.
Well, if I got you to laugh a little bit, that's
you
worth
did.
the price of it.
Yes.
Well, again, you can see Keith David at MegaCon Orlando, February 1st through the 4th. At the Orange County Convention Center. Go up and say hi. Keith, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We appreciate it.
I appreciate you, man. Take care.
All right, take care, Keith.
Be good.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
I didn't know when we were supposed to be out, because I know there were other people that were going to do
I just checked my
interviews.
email, and Bill was like, we're good until 2:45. So we could have went on, but that's what I was doing, checking my email. But,
sorry.
Yeah,
that was a rough one.
Yeah, those are hard.
And
I think he was having a hard time with his connection, too.
Yeah, it's hard when the connection is weird. It's hard to go back and forth, So I didn't mean to throw it over to you.
Definitely did.
Yeah, well, the correct answer is, of course I have a question, Dan. Let me think of one.
I was in the middle of answering an email, so I wasn't prepared.
I always am afraid Daniel's going to throw it to me, so I always have something that I can go
You guys are the hosts, so you should be ready.
I just wanted to be fair and because I know we were all excited about it. That's the only reason. I just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to ask him anything they wanted to ask him.
I'll tell you what happened. So Keith has an interesting pattern in his conversation where when he's done talking, I'm not sure if he's done.
Yeah.
So you know what that is?
And that's
what that is? It's education. We can't talk to
super smart people,
highly educated people.
Because when he finished talking, I was like, "Is he done?"
Yeah, you're holding on to each word.
And then I'm like, "He's done. Go!"
Yeah. It's like one of those things where you go to ask him something, and he's like, because he pontificates, right? He's like, I had lost a friend, and I gathered myself. I gave myself 10 minutes. Oh, are you interrupting me? How dare you?
That small pause, I was like, oh, God, I got to jump in.
Yeah, I was doing the same thing, too. It was a rough ride.
Yeah.
We'll get better with it. We'll get better. We have to talk to him again tomorrow. So
I asked myself.
I'm joking.
I asked myself.
We started doing a new segment with it.
Does anybody want this? So, sometimes there are listeners.
Look, we're gonna try. We're gonna try.
Yeah.
We're gonna
But
try.
should we even try? Should
Well,
we
normally-
even try? Should
normally-
we just talk ass?
No, it's not ass talking. It's
No,
just
no,
like,
not with it, but just with each other. Like
No interviews, you mean?
Yeah, like some interviews good, some are like.
I think that's just the way it goes. You just can't overthink it. You just got to let it be what it is.
Oh, I like overthinking. Yeah, no, like you have to overthink it. Yeah, I have to think about this. I'll be torturing myself for the next weeks, thinking of is this something anybody wants?
Wow, I mean,
I'll be thinking about how Dan threw me under the bus.
well, technically, I would say you threw me under the bus. The producer should be prepared with a question.
I
for the
gave
guest.
you guys a bunch of information to talk about.
Well, I don't know. That wasn't what I was looking for. Live action. I was looking for the live action.
Let's ask the Twitch chat room. Do you want this?
Do we want to
EJ
analyze?
said he enjoyed it.
No, I don't care what EJ thinks.
Well, I think
Ask
most
someone
people,
else.
I think most people, what they do is they say, when you get somebody that's so big, but you don't honestly know if the connection's going to be good, if like he sounded like he was in a car. We were having trouble with the connections. There is a disconnect there, so it's hard. So it becomes one of those things where, like, just getting him on the line and saying, like, hey, we have Keith David, and he talks about what he does, and you hear the familiar voice, that might be the only amount you can get out of it. You know, like, are we really, I mean, I hate to say this because it's like something you would say, but if you really wanted to know every nuance of his life, the internet is there.
Yeah.
And that sounds like something Tom would say, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you really wanted to know, like, he said he had a friend pass away. I wonder if I can figure that out. You probably can. It's on the internet.
Well, just knowing about going to the MegaCons, because this is something, I'm sure Twitch.
The chat room is saying, I'm getting a lot of y'all are being too critical. Yeah, but here's the thing. We always want to
Too critical.
We always want to do a great job for you guys.
Don't you want us to be critical? Who else is going to do it? I like the listeners are like, take it easy. Take it easy.
No, I think they're saying, like, the interview wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't
well, that's
bad
what
at
they're
all.
saying. They're like, you guys are being too critical on this interview.
We want to have a good connection. We want it, like, him to sound great.
I want it to be the best interview that's ever happened. Every interview, I want our listener to be like, that's the best interview I've ever heard.
I want them
that's
to be,
my standard.
Yeah, I want them to
I'm
be
not
like,
joking.
how do they top it?
Yeah,
and then we're like, we can't. We'll never be able to.
Yeah.
Until the next interview, because it has to be better.
But then again, is it something that anybody wants? That's my.
Well, I was I looked at the paper, and then the one question I was gonna ask him, I didn't think anybody was gonna know what the F it is. I was gonna ask him about working, on the show, like on the Wiz, but the only Wiz I remember is the original Wiz. That's how blank and old I am, with Michael Jackson in it.
Yeah.
Nobody watched the remake.
Yeah.
I didn't.
If you don't,
I think they're redoing it again too.
It's a great story. The original Wiz with Michael Jackson. I loved it. Absolutely loved it.
What do you think when he's like, I saw Fred Rogers with the makeup tissue stuck in his collar? I thought that was going to somewhere, but then that was a thing where when he stopped.
Yeah, okay.
I was like,
let's analyze the interview. This is let's throw the flag. Let's rewind the tape.
I was like, did you think that he looked stupid with that, or did you?
No. What I got from that.
He was just giving us like a visual.
I think this is a comparison of brains. Now, what I got out of that was that Fred Rogers was down to earth enough to get up from the makeup chair.
Right, because he's the star.
And he's not fully done yet and finished. And he was going and talking to
welcome to the
other
neighborhood,
and welcoming. Okay. So it was his way. It'd be like if you
he's a
were.
sweet man,
it'd be like if you were peeing with a door open, like you did this morning, and I walked in, and I was new, and then you came out, just doing your belt, and I'm Tom Van. I just want to welcome you.
Yeah, because if you're the star of the show, they're doing your makeup. You just like I'll say hi when I'm done with this. But he got up.
I also don't know the time of when this happened, so that may have played into it as well, right? You don't necessarily expect the guy to go talk to the black guy that's working on the show.
The early 80s.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what the time is. I'm just saying it would have been something very nice and very off of the norm.
It was Mr. Rogers is old enough that there was a scene. There was considered controversial, or not even controversial, but it's never been done in TV before, where remember Mr. Rogers like washed the feet of the mailman, and that was a huge deal because it was like Mr.
Made a lot
Rogers
of
was
people
white,
mad.
and then the mailman was
It
black.
was the original kneeling during the anthem. It was Rogers washing the feet. Don't wash the feet. He's washing the feet.
But you're watching it now with today's brain. You're like, what the hell? That's controversial, you know. But
I don't want
show
any
you.
man washing any other man's feet. I just
Anyway.
think it's weird. Feet are weird. It has nothing to do with sex.
He wasn't washing his feet, by the way.
What you're into?
They just had their feet in a pool together.
Oh, okay.
He wasn't washing his feet. You made it more racist somehow, and I don't know how you did that.
But I always make things more racist.
That's our specialty.
I was going to tell Keith that.
I'm glad you didn't.
Keith, before we start this interview, our
Did you
specialty.
get your feet washed by Mr. Rogers?
Keith, before
before
you start,
Did you do the robot on the Chappelle Show?
Don't tell any details about what you do because we won't understand them. Number one. Number two, we're gonna get
Good God.
I always think in every interview, what's the most racist question I can ask?
I texted
You're
him.
like Anthony Crispino from Saturday Night Live, where you get a little piece of the truth and then you
runs
spin
with
it
it. Oh, he just
so
runs
that
with
it's
it.
something that is insane. Like when you were talking
I
about.
did text you. How do I get out of this in a racist way? I texted you. Look at your phone.
Yeah, then I said, throw it to Sam.
I knew it. Sabotage.
She's got a racist question.
But she doesn't.
How dare you?
She doesn't have video.
The only non-racist person on the show.
Oh my God! Oh, now you're fired.
Well, that checked out.
Thank
Okay, all right. Did you like that?
Yeah, what?
That's the name of the segment. Is did you like that?
I sure about
How'd
that.
you like that? I think you liked the actual part after the interview, right?
Well, but you can't
Do
have.
more of that.
You gotta have the front.
Yeah,
to have the
yeah,
end.
gotta have the front to
It's
get
like
the back.
It's like a dirty horse costume from a rental store. You have to have the front of the back.
Yeah. If we never did the front, couldn't get the back. All right.
Okay, now the chat room wants you to rank the show.
Well, we
This specific segment or all day?
Get a higher. It changes during the actual segment, where it's like started off rough and then it got better, and then ended okay.
Oh, wait till I throw it to you next interview.
do
No, that's gonna be my
All right.
new thing. I'm gonna start throwing it to everybody.
All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
Awesome.
I will need an intro for
ma'am.
tonight.
That is
Thursday too.
What are we gonna put in one?
Just do
Whatever.
something tomorrow.
What do we got tomorrow?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the calendar.
Oh, we have the guy from Scotland. We have the Sanford 3. And Piff on Zoom.
Oh, right on.
What's the guy from Scotland?
He wanted to be a weird job, but I told him he didn't necessarily have to do that. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we'll talk about.
So
tomorrow.
there's a listener and his friend.
Tours, right?
Yeah, his friend is from Scotland, and he's here on vacation, and he owns and operates a personal tour and business in Scotland and the UK.
Okay.
He has got some killer stories of touring with celebrities and difficult people. So we'll find out.
I could ask him a racist question.
Oh yeah, they're super racist. Let me tell ya. My dog's Scottish. I could bring him in. Hey, my dog's Scottish like you. Get a picture with him. We got to go do an intro, guys. So I guess we'll see you in the morning. Bye, guys.